Holy
You see that, right? You see boar's head. You see like that boar.
yeah.
You see its mouth and its snout. And then you go down and then to the left. You see that huge crack in the cliff.
Yeah.
Yeah, me and my mate. Oh, Callum, you know Callum. Yeah, we got rescued from there a couple of years ago.
Holy shit.
We got stuck in there in the middle.
I think it was pretty good last time.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. All right. Just want to be that guy who's like has it in his mouth and he's like listening, like, fuck, like, and the guy's screaming into like the gaming mic, and you're like, oh dear.
Stay zero.
You're a good puppy. You think? And if I start rambling on, then you can just jump in and sort of be like, all right, oh, you don't have to be rude about that.
No, I won't.
No, you can tell me to shut up.
Well, first, tell me who you are.
My name is Skript, and what's your name? Sorry.
Sweet, bro.
Hey, that's it.
We're out here. Welcome on to the chart. I'm here with Skript. We're gonna do a little quick interview. Just get to know him a little bit better. Well, first, how did I meet you?
Through a lovely fella named MF Banks, actually. I believe that was the first time we met.
Yeah.
It was at a listening party at MF's house, actually, for his album launch, and it was like pretty tight crew. We didn't like. I went down with Blue Tongue, didn't know anyone there, but everyone I met was lovely. Like, it was a real kind of family kind of vibe, like homies and stuff. And yeah, we've linked up a bunch of times since then. Seen at all the gigs. Rest was history.
Yeah, bro. I mean, it was really fun because you know, we got to know each other a little bit well, and you guys were like very just, I don't know, just wholesome the whole time. Obviously, we have Zero with us too, so you see a little dog running around.
Hey.
Say hi, Zero. I want to ask you, like, when did you start music?
Good question. I think when I think about when I first started music, I think around the year of like maybe 2018, 19, but when I say that as in that's when I first started releasing music, 2019. In terms of like wanting to make music and just like jamming and having fun with, say, instruments and other stuff since a young age. But hip hop wise, yeah, I'd say about 5 years or so.
What was the first instrument you played?
Saxophone.
Okay.
Saxophone. Yeah, it was like a school band type thing. I never like could afford my own saxophone to own, so I didn't actually like I had like the school's one that I could borrow, and I sort of went home and practiced it, and I enjoyed it, but it wasn't necessarily my thing. And then I picked up a guitar. I loved playing guitar, but the same thing, I wasn't necessarily passionate about it, so I kind of didn't really stick with it until, you know, other things like hip hop came along.
Damn.
Yeah.
What was it like what was the first like equipment you bought professionally?
Probably a laptop, I'd say, because you can kind of have heaps of equipment, but without like a main sort of station like a laptop or a computer, it's hard to do anything. I mean, you can have like, you know, super old school analog gear, which is awesome, but you're going to end up spending a lot more and having heaps more stuff. Whereas when I started doing music and producing and stuff, I was like, alright, first thing I need to get was a laptop. And shout out my really supportive parents who helped me buy my first laptop because I was broke as fuck.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. What was your first experience like making or playing something?
Yeah, good question. First experience, as in like a live performance?
I think just making a song, even playing with something.
Yeah, I think I remember in high school, no, way further back. I remember year 6, we were doing like a poetry unit at school, and we all had to write a poem. And anyway, we did that poem, and then I was like, around the same time I sort of started hearing like that mainstream hip hop, I didn't really have the resources like my own phone or like internet to go and like find rappers and hip hop artists. But everyone knew artists like Eminem, 50 Cent, Snoop Dogg, whatever. So I heard a lot of that stuff. I was like, oh, okay, cool. This is kind of like poetry, right? And I don't know what they're called, but they're like those little black and red notebooks, and they got all the lines in them. And I remember my mum bought me this mini one like that. And I remember I wrote a verse when I was in like year 6, and the verse was about me. At the time I was obsessed with Bear Grylls, and I wrote a verse about like surviving in the wild in the desert with like lions on my back. And that was the first sort of lyricism I remember writing. In terms of hip-hop wise, yeah.
Why Bear Grylls? Everyone has inspirations for, like, other rappers, but Bear Grylls. Tell me about that.
Well, when I say Bear Grylls, I don't mean he has inspired my music, but as a young kid, like, seeing him out in the bush or whatever, and going up against, like, these natural elements and crazy wonders of the world, and, like, coming out, surviving, but also working with the land to do it. I don't know, as a kid I was just super like attracted towards that. I was like, that's just cool as like so that's I guess what was just going through my mind, so that's what I wrote about at the time. And then I don't think I wrote an actual verse until years after that. But yeah.
How did you relate to music then?
I think it made me imagine and feel things that I hadn't experienced yet. For example, like, I might listen to a song and I don't know, different songs put me in different places mentally, but also physically. I don't know if that makes sense. Like, I might put you in a mental headspace of, like, say, happiness, but it also puts me in this physical headspace where it's like, okay, what is happiness though? This might be me surfing at some beach, like in the Maldives or something, for example. Like, I'd listen to songs and it'd transport me to a place that I wouldn't intentionally think about, but the vibe of the song just takes me there. So it was kind of like, I don't know, an escape from what my normal reality was, which was at the time, I guess, just school. And, as a young kid, like, you don't really have the freedom to just go out and explore and do everything you want to do. So I feel like listening to music for me was kind of like, I don't know if a guilty pleasure is the right word, but, like, you know what I mean? You sort of, listen to something and it takes you, or it gives you different perspectives that I might not have got from my parents or friends, So it just gave me different insights and different kind of helped me experience different emotions as well.
Damn.
Yeah.
What about your music now? What do you base it on?
Just what I'm feeling at the time of writing it, really. It's not always necessarily like a certain topic or subject and I'm like, all right, I'm going to write a song about this rock. It might be about how I feel about it could be literally just like an emotion or like a feeling of like maybe wonder or like a feeling of maybe like I'm feeling lost at the moment. It's not necessarily like an exact topic or an issue. It can just be like just a feeling, and I might not necessarily write, I feel like this, but I'll be like, metaphorically, but sort of write it in a way. I don't know, a lot of it's just like in that flow state, like, you would have talked to me and Zach about, but just, sort of if I feel this feeling, like usually, I listen to a beat first, I get that feeling that just comes to me from wherever it comes from, and it just goes onto the page. I don't really have a choice or a say in that. It's kind of like whatever I'm feeling passionate about at the time, or whatever, if I'm feeling sad about something, it really depends on feeling and environment as well.
Damn.
Yeah.
Sounds like some grounding stuff you do as well, like therapeutic, and it's really grounding for you. Would you say?
Yeah, absolutely. Even, 100%. Even if it's not necessarily something I need to get off my chest, it's accepting a feeling and acknowledging it and actually letting that feeling breathe, letting it be its own thing before I can let it go.
Shit.
And then, if I ever want to revisit that or I relate to that feeling, or someone else does, they can tap into that, and that's where I was at that moment. If that makes sense.
That's some beautiful stuff, bro.
You know what I'm saying?
Not
Yeah.
gonna lie, that's some beautiful stuff. What about an element? If you were to describe yourself as an element, what would it be, and why?
Yeah, interesting question. I really like that one. I'd have to say Earth. I love all the elements. As a kid, I was a bit of a pyromaniac. Loved fire, blowing up shit. But fire's far too destructive for me to be that element. Water, I love water. I love swimming, surfing, all that stuff. And then funny thing is, as a Gemini, I believe my element is maybe like air. But when I think about it, and off the top of my head, I'm just like straight up, I'd have to say Earth, because I don't know if the camera can see where we are right now, but the Earth we live on is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
And the Earth is what gives life to the elements. So yeah, I'd say Earth.
Fuck, dude, that's some beautiful ass shit. You gotta chill out. Fucking hell. You gotta keep in mind where we're at right now. We're on a cliffside too. Some beautiful stuff. Holy shit. What about, even with that, because you use music a lot as like, therapy for you, but how do you manage that between like a day job? What do you do?
It's something I'm still trying to learn, to be quite honest. It's not an easy thing. I felt like maybe when I was a bit younger, maybe less responsibilities, it was a lot easier to kind of stay on top of. But nowadays, like working, studying, making music, having time for friends and family, they're all things that I love and I want to give time to. Well, not necessarily the work side of things. I mean, like working a normal 9-to-5 job. But I think the important thing to remember is, like, at the end of the day, say you lose everything, sometimes all you have is your passion. So I like to just prioritize creating just as high as my work and just as high as everything else in my life. That might sound crazy, but I got to prioritize it to give it the time and attention that it needs, because for me it's an important thing to do. It's like, people have to get up in the morning, brush their teeth, have a shower. I got to create. I got to do something like that. So it kind of just became an important part of me that after a while I don't have to think about, I have to go create or do this. It becomes a part, but with me saying that at the same time, it is hard because, like, say, when we're doing lots of gigs, especially with flowstate, we might have like a few gigs in a month. Like, we're rehearsing probably like 5 days a week. Like, we'll rehearse every day. We'll get home from work, rehearse, do whatever. And then it's hard because then, I have to cancel plans with friends and I have to prioritize and put things above other things, which I don't like doing at all. Mm-hmm. But I think a lot of it at the end of the day does come down to sacrifice. And, you just got to hope that people in your life will understand that, passion is something that's extremely important to you. And, a lot of it is just prioritizing things. A lot of people say they don't have time for things, but what they don't have is the right priorities.
Shit. Tell them. You tell them.
100%.
You tell them. Okay, you've mentioned... obviously you're having to prioritize cancel plans. What would be your favorite and least favorite thing about being a musician?
Ooh, good question. Least favorite thing about being a musician, I guess, is probably the same as most other people, in the fact that, well, these days anyway, especially if you're an independent artist and you don't have like, a big team, you got to do a lot of stuff yourself that doesn't exactly, the things that you got to do to be this musician that you want to be aren't necessarily anything to do with music, for example. Like, in terms of like, I don't know, marketing, promoting, getting yourself out there, like all that stuff I highly dislike, but it's part of the process. Like, nothing comes easy. You got to do shit you don't want to do. That's what chores are. And that's kind of the things I don't really like about it, because it's my favorite thing is just creating and performing. And if it's not that, well then, it's probably not the funnest thing to do. But best part of being an artist, probably like, there's a few things. Definitely performing is one of them. Being able to like see people in front of you who are listening to your like original song and your lyrics that you wrote, even if they don't know it, like to see them vibing and they're coming to these shows and they're having a good time and you're having a positive impact on people, that is a pretty amazing thing. And also, like, one of the best feelings is like after just writing a verse or a track and then listening back to it and you're just like, where did that come from? Like, I surprise myself. That's when you know it's a good track, when you're like, alright, I didn't know I had that in me, but I clearly do. So I love being able to like push myself and, you know, going into situations that I might feel nervous about. Like I might be going into some gig where I know there's a lot of higher caliber artists, say, who, you know, are really doing well in the scene. A lot of people know them, and I'm being put up, you know, maybe not against them, but like up with them on the stage or whatever. Like that can be nerve-wracking. It can be like sort of off-putting in a sense of like with self-doubt and stuff, but I think overcoming that is a really empowering feeling, and proving to yourself that, you know, you're up there with them. Like, just because they have a bigger following or whatever, that doesn't mean shit in the grand scheme of things, you know what I mean? So I think the feeling of like pushing yourself, putting yourself in risky situations or ones that are filled with self-doubt, but coming out the other side knowing that you did a good job, they're all great parts of being an artist, I think.
Damn. Okay, hold on, I need to think of another question. What about a creative block? That's something that, like, have you experienced one, and what do you do to sort of manage that?
Definitely, I've experienced a lot of those. Honestly, I think just like not pushing it too hard. If you like, you know, yeah, sometimes like, alright, I've got a creative block. A lot of people will just try force something out of it, be like, alright, I gotta write, gotta do this. That's probably the worst thing you can do. I'd say in terms of like having a creative block and working through that, I think maybe doing things like going outside, reading a book, or watching some new movies. Maybe like going onto YouTube and watching like a documentary about some extraordinary human from like Africa, for example. Like my mate sent me this thing about who is it? Is it Thomas Sankara or Tony Sankara? He was an African president of Burkina Faso, maybe. I gotta get my facts right. I probably got that wrong, but like that's an example. Like, you know, he sent me this guy, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna watch some stuff about him. That inspired the shit out of me. I was like, this human is crazy, and like I think just steering away from music and whatever you're trying to create into a new field it'll always bring you back around to where you need to be, and with the creativity wise, you can't push it. You got to let it flow. So I think, yeah, looking at other places, looking at things from different perspectives. I think learning is a big thing. Just teach yourself some things that you didn't already know.
Shit, yeah, you get your head screwed onto this music stuff, bro. No joke. What about some weaknesses you're actually actively trying to improve on? Yeah,
that's a good one. I find it. I definitely got a fair few weaknesses, that's for sure. Time management is a big one, and like, you know, we were talking about it before with, you know, everything that goes on in life, trying to manage time to do things. So that's a big one, time management. All my homies know I'm always late to everything, so that's already, you know, I'm working on that. In terms of like more musical things, I'd say just having a constant creative flow, which may or may not be completely possible. Like, I don't know if it is possible to always be in complete creative flow, because I'll be honest, I'm not all the time. Like, I'd like to think I could be, but sometimes I'm just not. So, you know, I want to work on being more confident in my own creative flow, and probably just like controlling ego as well is a big thing that actually a lot of people need to do in the Australian rap scene. It's a hard one, because like hip hop and rap is a very braggadocious thing. A lot of it is like, a lot of people rap about how they're top shit or whatever. Like, that's cool, I got no problem with that. But it's like separating yourself and the way you view everyone else from your ego. The way I look at it is like, everyone's always going to have an ego regardless. You can't take an ego away from someone. But a lot of people forget they have one, and they just like, their ego is just part of them, and they just, you know, whatever, they think they're the best, or they think, and it creates things like jealousy or like hatred towards other people, because, you know, say someone's doing better or whatever, it's like ego, it all comes back to ego, and like self-doubt and stuff. It's like self-doubt also comes from ego, because your ego doesn't want to see you lose or like be under someone else. Your ego always wants you to be better than everyone else, and you have to have that mentality in the rap game. You want to be the best, of course, but you can't let your ego take over the top of you, because it has happened to me, I'll admit that straight up. And it's not that the fact that I ever thought I was the best, it was more the fact that things like self-doubt and like confidence kind of went out the window a bit when I sort of let my ego take control a bit more, because I pretty much just had to humble myself. I was like, all right, I'm really not as good as I thought I was, and I've got a lot of shit to improve on, and the ego blocks you from seeing room for improvement and stuff. Basically, just destroying and separating my ego is my main thing that I need to work on. And that was hard to admit. I actually had a good conversation with Blue Tongue about this about a week ago. I won't go too deep into it, but yeah, I think like knowing your ego, accepting it, but holding it separate from yourself as an artist is very important, because it'll end up kicking you in the ass and doing some shit you don't want to happen.
Damn.
Yeah.
I mean, I've spoken with artists already who have, and I've seen a lot of artists that you probably have as well, who talk about very personal things surrounding stuff like drug addiction or mental health. Do you have anything along those lines for yourself? You speak a lot about it, but do you have any sort of music?
Yeah. Like, are you saying like music about those, like any sort of struggles like that? Yeah. I'd say, I mean, all my music is an expression of feeling. It's might not all necessarily be negative though. I definitely do use it to express negative emotions though. Like, I don't know, sometimes I just don't feel seen or I don't feel heard. So, I know I kind of feel like I'm just swept under the rug or whatever. So that's, you know, I really speak passionately, like you'll know when I'm rapping a verse, and that's where the feeling is coming from, because I'll just talk my shit and I'll have my foot on everyone's neck, you know what I mean? That's where that shit comes from, I feel. In terms of like, I don't know, addiction and stuff, I definitely have written about that in the past, but you know, I've gotten a lot better since then. I mean, I like, straight up, I'll admit I smoke a lot of weed, but my relationship with it has changed over the years. You know, like when I first started smoking, it's like, it's cool, it's fun, it's like a social thing, you know, and then it got to a point where I was like, alright, I'm smoking like every day now, and it's something that I was kind of prioritizing, not over people, but like over other things. Like, so say I gotta, you know, I should be at the gym at 5 o'clock, it's like, but I'll go home and like whatever, like smoke a joint or have a sesh or something, and then I like procrastinate, and then things like, it kind of did build up to this, I don't know, I don't know if I didn't really give myself an ultimatum, but I sort of kicked in and I was like, what weed is actually doing to me is suppressing my personality of me being just like my true self. Because I kind of like shy away, hide away a bit, takes away a bit of my confidence and a bit of like my humor and stuff. So I've kind of had a weird relationship with weed, but it also really does help me with like things like anxiety and stuff. I wouldn't say I'm like a very anxious person, but I can definitely like every now and then, I might get like an overwhelming feeling of anxiety, which I can't really say where it comes from because I don't know. Sometimes it will be about a certain something, but a lot of the time it's just like this feeling, inside me, and I can't really get rid of it. And smoking does help a lot with that, but it also takes away a lot of other good qualities about me. So in terms of music about that though, I definitely do have a few songs in relation to that sort of addiction, I guess you could say, but that's something that I guess you guys will have to hear in the near future.
Do you have any new tracks that are coming out at all?
Yeah, man. Look, I can't give any exact dates or plans, but I can give you some little ideas of what might be coming. In terms of like Skript, so I've actually got 2 EPs, one finished one that I'm still working on. And when I say finished, I'm probably going to go back and still change some shit around, But yeah, I've got like a couple EPs that I've got there, one self-produced, one with another producer. But at the moment, I'm kind of just in a period of creation. I'm not in a period of releasing and pumping stuff out and trying to get seen and heard. Right now I'm just solely focusing on creation and just making art, and when it's ready the world will hear it.
Damn.
And don't worry, it won't be too long, don't worry.
Do you have any dream collabs that people you really want to work with?
Definitely got a few. Off the top of my head, Ocean Wisdom, say Leaf Dog, Verb T. These are all guys from like the UK. A lot of them inspired me like when I sort of first started making music. So probably I'd say those kind of guys. High Focus Records, like a lot of those guys, the 4 Hours, because when I was growing up and getting into hip hop, that's what I really resonated with. It was like that sort of lyricism and that conscious sort of hip hop. That's what inspired me to write. So I'd say they're probably, dream collaboration. But yeah, I'm really just open to work with anyone at this point. Like, if we're vibing. That another thing is though, that's the thing. I won't just work with anyone though. Like, if some random guy hits me up to make music, I don't necessarily want to say no, but I want to build like a friendship or a relationship with someone first before we make music, because that's how we'll make the best music. Like, why do you think me and Blue Tongue make music all the time and make good music? Is because our chemistry is tight, you know what I mean? Like, so that's the thing. It's like, these are my dream collabs, but I don't even know these people on a personal level. I might meet them and I might not get along with them, but I mean, I hope I would, because I do look up to those guys. But yeah, I'd say they'd probably be some of my dream collabs, yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Shouts out to you guys.
Hey, big ups.
Okay, you want to get into the questions people sent in?
Yeah, let's do it.
So I got a bunch of people to send through questions. Some of them are pretty funny, but he's going to answer them all. So let's get into it. Okay, do you want me to read out their names?
I want you to read the think. I'm gonna guess who it's from. Well, I mean, I might not know everyone who it's from, but I definitely feel like some of the questions I'll know who it's from.
Okay, we'll try. Okay. First one. Why is Benny's mullet so sexy?
Well, actually, I think you sent me that question, so I think I know who that is. Why? You're not gonna like this, but you want to hear a secret tip. You want to hear this for real, bro? Anyone who asks me about my hair, I always tell them the same thing, and you might get grossed out by it. I mean, I'm not saying don't wash it completely, but straight up, don't shampoo your hair every week. That's all I'm gonna say.
Damn. Okay. Another one. How many burgers can you ham?
Can I ham?
Yeah, I'm not sure what that is. Come on, have a guess what that is first.
How many burgers can I ham? That's a saucy sounding question. look, I'll answer in a few ways. Meaning how many burgers can I like just smash, eat down? Depends on the size, but I'd say at least I reckon I could smash 3 big solid burgers. But then again, like if they got heaps of meat on them, and eat 3 of them, maybe I couldn't. But depends what's on them. How many burgers can I ham? I don't know what else. The other way I'm thinking about, I don't know if I want to answer that. But
don't.
yeah, that's all I'm gonna say. I reckon I could eat a few, but
Okay. Well, this one was from Mitch Habekse, I think it's how you pronounce it.
Alright.
You probably don't know
Wait, that
them.
was the burger one.
Yeah.
right.
The next one is Skript. Why so sexy?
Damn, son. Good question. I don't think I've always been this sexy, but hey, let me actually say one thing. I think being sexy comes from confidence.
Ooh.
It doesn't always come from looks. You know what I mean? Like,
Ooh.
I don't know how to say, but straight up, like, if you're confident in yourself and the way you move is confident, and the way you talk is confident, that's sexy. That's attractive.
Damn.
That's all I'm gonna say.
Fucking calm down, bro. So this one was from Young Blonde.
That one was?
Young Blonde.
Oh, I thought the other one was.
No,
who
no.
was the mullet?
That one was Jeremy.
True. Alright,
So,
alright.
okay, next one we have, who are 3 local artists you think people should tap into?
Word, good question. Alright, well, of course I'm going to say my brother Blue Tongue. You already know that. So I'm strictly naming Mountains artists here because that's local to me. Glenview Collective.
Ooh,
So they're a crew of people actually. They got people from Sydney as well. But yeah, they're based in the mountains, and yeah, my bro TDB, straight up, he has put me on a lot of times, put me on gigs, you know, throwing advice my way, just always been someone good to talk to. So yeah, TDB, Blue Tongue, who else we got? Man, so the whole Glenview Collective really.
okay.
Who else is up here? It's interesting because a lot of the artists up here have like moved away, gone to Sydney, or they don't make music anymore. One of the OG artists, you know, I don't really know if he needs much of an introduction, but because locals up here definitely know him. But Dielectrics, crazy OG artist from the mountains. Up and coming YK Tanner.
Damn.
He's doing some cool shit. Yeah, man. I haven't really tapped in with him too much, but I follow him and I see all of his stuff, and he's working hard. He's got people from Sydney and the Sydney scene tapped in with him, so you know that's great to see. That's great to see. But yeah, off the top of the head, Blue Tongue, TDB, Glenview Collective, YK Tanner. Yeah,
Shit.
I mean, I could shout out all the artists from Sydney, but every other person you interview is going to shout out the same people I'm probably going to shout out. Like, yeah, you already know who I'm going to shout out from down those ways. But from my area, tap in with those guys.
Tap in. This one was from my boy Gussie. So shout out to you, boy.
Yeah.
Shout out to everyone actually who's like sent something through.
100%.
And the next one is, what does music mean to you? You have answered it, but just for this person, just answer it again.
Cool. What does music mean to me? I just think of the word passion. I don't know. I'm just passionate about it. It means a lot, I guess. It's kind of any sort of emotional expression. Yeah, it means a lot to me, really. I could go into it, but I'll be here for a while. It means a lot to me, for sure.
This one's a personal favourite because it's from my little brother Jay. He's tapping his support.
Shout out, Jay.
He's supporting us. This one, if you could only listen to one artist for the rest of your life, who would it be?
Ooh. Damn, bro, that's a hard question.
Yeah.
Like, that's a really hard question.
I'll give you a hint. This person sent through a bunch of questions for you. So I'll give you a hint of who's asking them.
Wait, wasn't it your brother?
No, he sent me one.
Oh, right. Oh, is this Zach probably?
Yeah,
Blue Tongue,
Zach.
yeah, it's
Shout
Blue
out to
Tongue
Zach.
question. Damn, well, by the looks of the Flowstate discography unreleased, I'd say Flowstate. We got music for days to listen to. Like, I'm gonna have to plug myself there, but okay. Other artists, that's really hard. If I'm being straight up real with you, it probably wouldn't be a hip hop artist. I'd say maybe someone like, I really fuck with Xavier Rudd. Xavier Rudd.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do they do?
He's I don't even know what genre you call him. He's like a singer-songwriter. He sings a lot about Australia, really, and like a lot of like very indigenous stuff. Like he's got a song, one of my favorite songs actually, Spirit Bird, and it's it's about the kind of the government and corporations and things like destroying the land and kind of like taking all this stuff away from like what's a very spiritual and like magical place. I don't know, a lot of what he sings about is like very real and it makes me emotional, and he's versatile. He's got happy songs, he's got sad songs, great songs to smoke a spliff to, like just good vibes. He's got some kind of like reggae kind of songs too. Like he's got a mad fusion of stuff. So I'd probably say Xavier Rudd.
Okay.
Yeah.
Another question from the same person. What comes to mind when you hear the term higher purpose, and how does it apply to you?
Higher purpose, how does it apply to me? It makes the decisions that I don't make. I don't know, in terms of writing a song, for example, like I was saying, like sometimes there's a feeling I feel. I don't necessarily have the words to write down, like I feel like this and how I feel about it, but it comes through me. It comes from a higher place, a higher purpose. Yeah, I think. Well, it's something that's metaphysical. I can't say what it is, what it looks like, what it sounds like, or anything because it's metaphysical. But it's there, and I feel it every day. I think it's what I think it's a kind of. I think it's stronger than gravity. It's like it's a type of gravity, but it's stronger. I feel like, but it doesn't hold you down. It drives you. Higher purpose drives you to where you need to be, not where you want to be.
Damn.
Yeah.
Okay. You've already answered this, but when is music coming?
Yeah, well, like I said before, actually I will say as well, so yeah, I mean in terms of Skript, I'm just in a big creation process, creating music, making lots of beats. Definitely there'll be new music come this year. I'm not going to give you a date because I don't want to promise anything and then not, live up to it. I'm a very, I might finish something, but then I'll look at it and be like, nah, fuck this. I'm going to, you know what I mean? So I'm not going to give you a date there. In terms of flowstate though, yeah, we got some fucking crazy shit that's going to be coming soon for sure. Crazy shit.
Man, I'm hyped, bro.
Ha ha ha.
I'm hyped. Well, this person has a fair few, so give me a second.
You're right. So comfortable, man. Honestly.
Yeah.
What a spot.
Well, unfortunately I couldn't get the rest of Zach's questions up, so shout out to you, but technical difficulties as you could imagine.
Let's bring some of those questions up in the flowstate interview in the future.
Yes. You gotta tell me a little bit about flowstate, by the way, because
sure.
You guys are like a really cool group. Obviously, you guys rebounce with each other.
Sure.
Tell me about that.
Well, yeah. Okay, well, I'm not going to go into too much depth about flowstate because I'd like to do that with Blue Tongue here, But then again, you'll get him started and then that'll be a whole thing. And then that'll get me started and, flowstate. Me and Blue Tongue, basically, yeah. It's a rap duo and we basically, at the moment, all of our songs we're making are all self-produced, which is what we're aiming to do now. Obviously, we're 100% open to working with any producer. But yeah, a lot of it is from that higher purpose, because Blue Tongue and me, we got very similar perspectives on the world. We're different people in a lot of senses, but like we think differently about everything, like in the way we do things, but the chemistry is like 1,000% maxed out. Like, you're playing Skyrim and you got like all the skills and stuff. Like, chemistry's maxed out. So anything we make, this is a bit egotistical to say, but anything we make kind of slaps straight up. Like, and we got a lot of stuff. We got some real nice like mellow, more like lovey kind of songs. We got like some more hardcore like horrorcore rap. Like, nothing is off limits for flowstate. I'll just say that.
Big ups. We're gonna finish it there, but thank you again, Skript, for coming out.
Thank you.
Plenty more to come. Any shouts out you want to give?
Shout out everyone doing their thing. If you're doing your thing and you're doing it with love and respect, all power to you. Straight up, keep killing it.
Amen. All right, on the chart.
Tap in.
Yay!